2025 is already here, and there are some major tax law changes that are in effect for LLC owners. I want you to be in compliance and understand what adjustments have changed and what rules you need to follow. But before we jump in, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any wealth building information. Now, let's get after it. The very first thing that changes every single year is the standard deduction. Remember, the standard deduction is what you are allowed to deduct from your taxable income or deduct from your income to get to your taxable income. If you are married filing joint, the standard deduction has increased to $30,000. That means if you and your spouse are making $100,000, you're gonna deduct $30,000 to come down to taxable income of $70,000. If you are single, the standard deduction has increased to $15,000. Again, if you're single making $100,000, standard deduction is $15,000. You're going to be able to deduct that $15,000 from your $100 to bring you down to $85,000. In addition, the standard deduction has increased for those who file head of household. The head of household standard deduction is $22,500. So it's important to know that those things have changed for 2025. In addition, there have been changes to the marginal tax rates and various adjustments. And let me just look here. If you are a single filer, meaning you're filing by yourself, you're not married, you can make over $626,000 before you go into the next tax bracket. And if you're married filing jointly, it's $751,000. So make sure that you understand where you are in your marginal tax rates. That's really important as an LLC owner who is going to definitely have to file your individual tax return. In addition, we have the beneficial ownership interest filing that needed to be filed as a result of the Corporate Transparency Act as a result of FinCEN. And that meant that several of our businesses, especially our LLC businesses, needed to file by December 31st, 2024 to prevent from having to pay a $500 a day fine. Here's an update to that. Right now, the state of Texas filed a lawsuit against FinCEN. Therefore, it has been suspended. The requirement to file your beneficial interest statement has been suspended until the courts rule, until further notice. So make sure that you keep up with this law and make sure you're following me, because I will bring you the changes as they happen. Some of the provisions that are currently in the tax law that came in as a result of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, TCJA, are set to expire at the end of December 2025. As LLC owners, this is going to affect you because you were allowed a 20% business income deduction as a flow-through entity. We want to make certain that yes, we are going to be able to get that deduction in 2025, but do not depend on that deduction going into 2026. Now that Trump is going back into office, hopefully he will extend those tax cuts that he originally implemented, and it may continue. But notice I said may continue. We don't know if it's going to continue. There are some other provisions. For example, there was a $10,000 cap on SALT, state and local tax deductions, which included your property tax deduction, your state income tax deduction, for those that were able to itemize deductions. That's still capped at $10,000. I am hoping that that will get eliminated because in states like New York, New Jersey, and California, $10,000 is only a drop in the bucket. Let's see what's going to happen as we move forth out of 2025 into 2026. And there's still an opportunity for there to be a tax law change in 2025 at the beginning of the year that could impact 2025. So this is a year to stay focused and stay tuned, because there's going to be a lot of changes for LLC owners. I want to make sure you LLC owners understand that there are some action items that you need to take. Number one, it cannot be business as usual. You cannot go in making sure you file your previous year tax return and think that your current year that you're in is going to be the same, because we are very much in a transition state right now. So the first thing that you must do as an LLC owner, you must have good financials. You need to make certain you have a profit and loss that is kept updated. You need to make certain that you have a budget and that you're really driving your business, because taxes is one of our biggest expenses and it can really impact your net profit in your pocket. So make certain that you have those financial statements. That was number one. Number two, review your financial statements every single month and every quarter. Yes, every quarter. Get with your tax strategist, not just a tax preparer, not just a tax professional. Get with your tax strategist. Why? Because your tax strategist can help you mitigate any tax liability that comes as a result of a tax law change that could impact your bottom line. It's important to make certain you have a plan in place. If everything goes according to plan, this is where I am. If things change and become worse for me, this is what I need to do. Every great sports team has multiple plays. Taxes are like a sport. You got to have multiple plays to ensure you're able to win the game. So that is the second thing that you need to do. The third thing that you absolutely must do, you got to make sure you implement what the tax strategist tells you to do. Don't just go meet with them and listen and follow up and follow through. Do what they tell you to do, because that is going to save you money in the long run. And the fourth thing that you must do, pay your estimated taxes. I'm not a proponent of paying taxes, but I do believe in paying our fair share once we have scratched and scraped everything we can out of the tax code to legally reduce our taxes. Then you got to pay your fair share, because that's what the law says. That fair share must be paid quarterly. April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th of the following year. Why should you give your money to the government early? Because it's the law. It will prevent penalties, and you LLC owners do not need to pay more money out. You will be in compliance, and come the following year, you're going to have a feel-good moment when your taxes are paid. So make certain that you do exactly what I'm telling you to do. LLC owners, you now know better. I told you about the adjustments that were being made to the 2025 tax rates and the actual standard deduction. I told you about the Transparency Act and how we are in a little flux over that. I told you to make sure that you are aware of tax law changes that are pending based on TCJA. And I gave you homework to do. So you absolutely got to go do better. You got to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend by sharing this video, because I expect you to come up as you get more and more educated.